Our faculty and staff believe in work, hard work, and they truly exhibit a spirit that is not afraid.
War Eagle.
There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
We're about excellence and innovation.
There's something about this Auburn culture. There's something about this Auburn family.
I believe in Auburn.
War Eagle.
And love it.
We're a football school, but we're also an everything school.
War Eagle Auburn fans, and welcome to the Everything Auburn podcast. I'm your host, Auburn Communications Director Preston Sparks, and this is the place for learning all about the amazing people, places, traditions, and hard work that sets Auburn apart from the rest. Seinfeld was a show about nothing, but this is a podcast about everything Auburn. With this segment, we're going to feature our nationally ranked gymnastics team, which is having yet another amazing season. To talk all about it, we have Gymnastics standout Sophia Groth here on the podcast to detail the team and offer insight into her journey to Auburn and into the world of gymnastics. Thought we'd get things kicked off having you talk about how the season has gone and maybe how proud you are to be a member of the team.
Yeah, I love being an Auburn gymnast. It's one of my proudest accomplishments for sure. And this season has been awesome so far. We're really making that upward climb, which is always what you want to see. And we have 10 new girls on the team this year. So we have 11 returners and 10 new faces. And it's been quite the adjustment. I think that's where you saw at the beginning of the season, we were trying to make those adjustments, trying to figure out who we were as a team and how we were able to operate together. And it's been awesome to see just the growth every week and taking those little steps forward.
All-American, All-SEC, Sophia Groth.
I know each meet is always an electric scene right inside Neville Arena. I've been there, and it's just amazing. Love attending the meets. So tell us sort of how much you appreciate the fans, how much that means to you. You know, we've got the special gymnasties, right? That you're on the team in such an entertaining way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's something that is unique to Auburn, and that is one thing that I fell in love with Auburn, just the fan base and people that aren't even associated with the sport of gymnastics, that don't know anything about gymnastics. They show up and they have the best time. They bring that electric energy just because that's Auburn being Auburn. And it's really special to have the gymnastics because people want to come to Neville just for them, to experience that, to get mocked by them or, their floor routines and whatnot. And I think that's so special because no other team has that. No other sport has that. So I really appreciate just the Auburn family, and there's truly no environment like it.
I love the Auburn family,
Yes.
right? So let's discuss now how you became interested in gymnastics. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was 5.5 when I started, and I originally I was climbing the door frames in the house, and my mom was like, this girl, we got to do something with her so she can get her energy out. And she put me in a gymnastics class, and from there, it was kind of like the rest is history. My coach saw from that first class that I had a little bit of potential, and I think gymnastics is a good combination of hard work and talent. And I had some talent, and then just from there, I was kind of put on this expedited rate to go start competing. I started competing at 6, and I was in kindergarten, and I just loved putting on a sparkly leotard and putting some glitter in my hair and flipping around with friends.
So let's talk about collegiate athletics and sort of how you got connected in with that.
Yes. So like I mentioned earlier, I was on that expedited rate, and I was training 36 hours by the time I was 10 years old. That was a pretty big commitment. I made a lot of sacrifices, my peers, and I learned the importance of hard work and the potential that I could have and what I could get out of it if I applied myself. And one of those goals became college. And my mom was like, you can get a scholarship to go to college, and your college will be paid for, and that'll set you up for the rest of your life. Like, that's a big deal. And so as soon as I understood just how much potential I had and how I could turn my dream of being a collegiate athlete into a reality, it was like, I'm in it. So I started getting college recruiting letters in 6th grade. That was still elementary school for us. And it was kind of crazy, very crazy. I look back and I'm like, at the time I was like, yeah, I'm looking at colleges. I didn't even know what college was. So looking back now, it's funny to think that I was trying to make one of the biggest decisions of my life at such a young age. But nothing I would change because I love Auburn, and I committed this summer between my 8th and my 9th grade year just because that was what the normal was. We were before the rule change, so now you can't talk to them until June 15th going into your junior year of high school, which is much better overall because that is a very big decision, but I do believe that God had a very big hand in my decision because I never wavered against Auburn, and Auburn never wavered against me.
Wow, love that. And that's a perfect segue into a discussion of, okay, your journey here to Auburn. Tell us about that, and then what you really love about Auburn.
Yeah. I was getting letters at such an early age. I'm really bad at geography, which maybe you guys have seen on the I just wanted the fifth grader segment that we did a couple of weeks ago. But I did not know where the state of Alabama was. I didn't know that it existed, really. I didn't know where Auburn was. So I was just basing my visits off of the relationships I had with the coaches from phone calls and recruiting letters and that such. And Auburn was actually fifth out of my 5 schools that I chose to visit going into the visits. And then afterwards, it was between Oklahoma and Auburn. And Oklahoma is infamously, they're national champions almost every year. And so I think that was a very big difference in just the level of gymnastics. Auburn at the time was in the top 15 pretty much every year. But at the same time, I wanted to be valued as a person first and not just as an athlete. And I saw that Auburn could offer me opportunities that would help me beyond college and beyond sport, because I think one thing that is overlooked for a lot of student athletes is just the potential that you have after sport and being able to set yourself up for that. And so I think Auburn really offered that to me and was going to set me up to be a well-rounded individual and human being and not just an athlete.
Let's talk about sort of being a student athlete and some of the challenges that come along with that.
Yes. So I always deem myself a pretty independent woman coming into college, and because I'd been committed for so long, I had anticipated it and I just couldn't wait to be here. And I thought being independent, like I could do my own laundry, I could cook, and I could clean for myself. And I was like, oh, I'm set up. No, that's not how that works. College really hits you. And I had to make a lot of adjustments really quickly, and managing your schedule and your time. I'm on campus a lot. Like my days are packed full, and some of that is initiated by me, but some of that is just the demands of being a student athlete. You have classes in the morning, practice in the afternoon, and by that time, you're doing homework in the afternoons, and your day's over. So there's not a lot of wiggle room to be going and having a normal college experience. And so I think that's the level of sacrifice a lot of general population students and even other student athletes just don't understand, is the amount of sacrifice that it takes. You're signing up to be a student athlete and not to live a normal college student experience.
I'm sure being, in gymnastics has fostered your growth as a person. Detail that a bit for us.
Yeah. Gymnastics specifically breeds an environment where you are having to multitask and perform at a high level in all aspects of your life. It's getting more recognition now, but when I started gymnastics, people only knew it for what it was at the Olympics, and they didn't value it much past that. And I think it's awesome now to see that people are actually recognizing how much effort, time, sacrifice, commitment it takes, just like any other sport, but also now it's more on the headline. So people are like, wow, like you make those flips on the beam look easy, but I know they're not, and know that you're in practice 20 hours a week and perfecting those and whatnot. And academics does take priority. It's a business too. Gymnastics is a business where I'm getting my college education paid for in order to perform and represent my university. So it's a balance of how do you do that as well, but how do you also still love gymnastics and do it from a place of passion, not a place of obligation. And you're balancing a lot of things, and all of those things contribute to character development and how you view them and how you just advertise them and market them for yourself. Because I personally don't view the sport as a business. It's a passion project for me. It's something that I love to do. And athletics in general has taken a trend where we're leaning more towards it, seeing it just as a business. And it hurts me because for character development wise, like you always have to go back to your why. Who's the little girl or the little boy that you're doing this for? And how did you start? What was your why at the beginning? Don't lose sight of that. So I think it's definitely developed my character, and I would not be the same person I am today without the sport.
All right. So on the student front, tell us what your major is, sort of how Auburn is supporting you for success in the future.
Auburn has offered me so many academic resources, support. We have a specific student athlete development center where we can just study hall hours, and their hours are flexible with our schedules, and it's been awesome to have that resource. But I'm majoring in exercise science. I'm minoring in sport coaching, and I work to complete my undergraduate degree in a little over 2.5 years. So I'll graduate this semester, and I've started my master's classes this semester as well. and I'm getting my master's in adult administration and supervision curriculum, so higher education. And I will plan to have that completed by the end of my 4th year, so spring of 2025.
Okay, I'm absolutely impressed now. If I wasn't already, oh my goodness, that's amazing. So let's talk about sort of your commitment to using that NIL platform, I know, to help the community, right? Give us a little insight into that, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pandora's box of NIL was opened when I was coming into my freshman year. And my initial intentions with it were really none. Like, I had no intention because I was like, I don't have a name, image, or likeness. So really nobody knew what was happening with it. Nobody knew how to navigate it. Brands didn't even know what they were doing. So it was like, how do you even work with them? I don't know. So I didn't start getting into it until the middle of my freshman season. I started getting more recognition because my performances were going well. And I started getting brands in my DMs, and they were reaching out to me. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like, free stuff, cool, you know? But for me, it was much more than that. I was like, I really have a platform and an opportunity to bring awareness to a mission and make an impact that is so much greater than myself. And that, to me, was what I wanted to use my NIL for. It was much more than just a check or just promoting something I didn't even believe in, you know? It was building a brand that was genuine, authentic, and that was able to spread who I am as a person and my mission for the impact and legacy I wanted to leave behind as an Auburn athlete. So that's kind of what I've used it for. I've worked with a lot of local brands because, again, it's the Auburn family. Like, Auburn will love you back if you love them. And they poured into me so much just with the fan base, the support. I wouldn't have the platform I have without them. So I knew I wanted to work with local brands and create those relationships instead of just, you know, emailing back and forth and negotiating contracts. And there is a little bit of that just because there is a business side of things, but I wanted it to be more of a relational thing.
You're like the perfect Auburn ambassador, by the way. After hearing all this is just amazing. So, all right, so let's talk about the season. So we kind of started, discussing how things have gone this year. I know that February 23rd is senior night, right? As well as breast cancer awareness night. So let's talk about that. What you're excited about for that night.
Yes, I'm super excited just because we have 2 super seniors and then 2 fourth-year graduating seniors, and it's a night to celebrate them, to celebrate our last meet in Neville. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and sentimental, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like this, I only have 1 more year after this, and this season's already gone by so fast. And just knowing that this is our last meet in Neville for this season has me emotional, let alone getting to celebrate my teammates and my friends that their careers at Auburn and all they've contributed to the team and the atmosphere and the legacies that they're going to leave on the team and the school in general. So I'm really excited just to be out there, and I know Mizzou is a great team, so it'll be a great competition, and we're hoping for a lot of support and a lot of students to show up.
So is there anything else you'd like to mention for the listeners? Maybe a way they could help cheer on the team?
I would say just to show up and show out. It means so much more than just the gymnastics. We're here to spread a mission and awareness and represent ourselves as people first and then athletes, and not show just what we're capable of on the beam, ball, or floor, but to show that this is a true expression and passion project that we have, and it means so much more than just the gymnastics itself.
Well, thanks so much again, Sophia, for joining the podcast and then enlightening us on all things gymnastics. We really appreciate it and hope everyone listening learned a few new things and grew their knowledge of everything Auburn. Make sure to check back on our show for future episodes as we continue to look at everything that makes Auburn so special. War Eagle.